Hey everybody, ASMR FTB here, with my Final Fantasy VII Rebirth review. Um, I got my PS5 all hooked up on my regular gaming rig so that I could record gameplay. But I don't know. This game sucks. I'm gonna be honest. Let's take a look. I played this game for how many hours? I played this game for like 83 hours, and I probably enjoyed less than 20 hours total. It's a terrible game. Um, and that's the thing. To preface, it's a horrible video game. Um, there are just so many instances where you're doing things that just aren't fun. Objectively, are not fun things to do. And they were just kind of shoehorned into the game to make it just feels like to make you play. And I had the same complaints about Remake. But the fact that it didn't change is infuriating. I almost like Remake better because it was on rails and it was kind of linear. So it didn't feel overwhelmingly arduous at times. Like this game, you go to the world map and oh, it's open world. It's not that fucking open world. You can't travel the whole map. There are big open map sections, but that have a lot of things for you to do, but it's not like open world. Or at least it really doesn't feel like true open world. So you go to all these fucking areas and you have all these stupid, all of these side quests mean nothing. They add nothing to the story. There was one or two that were one that was kind of funny where you're taking pictures of Red 13, and there were a few others that kind of had some weight to them, some essence, some significance. They did something for the story or some sort of relationship between the characters. But most of them were just god awful. Were just stupid. I mean, there's one where you literally pull a string on it that's attached to a tin can to get fucking chickens. To you're herding fucking a chicken, one chicken at a time with this string in a tin can. It's laughable. I don't know how, in what universe did a developer. There's rooms full of people who okayed that, who saw that and were like, yep, looks good. That's really fun. That's something we want to subjugate. That's something we want to, fucking, what's the word? We want to expose our players to. That's something we want them to do. We want them to spend their time doing that. It's unbelievable. And I'm seeing people the subreddits, the Final Fantasy subreddits and other things. People are saying this game is game of the year. This game fucking sucks, and you're out of your goddamn mind if you think this is anywhere near game of the year. This is, the only positive thing about this game is that you get to see Cloud, Tifa, Barret, Aerith, Red, a little bit of Vincent and Sid. They give Vincent and Sid the Red 13 from Remake treatment where they're just characters. And also to preface, if you're watching this and you haven't played, you don't want spoilers, don't watch this video. Watch it later after you've played. This is going to be all spoilers. I'm just going to talk about everything that I can think about in my experience in the game and probably complain a lot. So if you're looking for positivity and, I probably will try to say a few positive things because there is some good in this game, but for the vast majority, like I said, 20 of the 80 hours I probably enjoyed. Oh, big stretch. Attaboy, Red 13. 20 of the 80 hours I probably enjoyed. 20. If even. And for somebody to enjoy 1/3 of an 80-hour game is 1/3 of a game, period. It's not worth it. I think there's a flow map of how you have to determine whether or not this game is worth playing. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII, it's worth playing in that you get to see the original story being played out in this manner, in this way, with updated graphics, and there is that new kind of story element of the inner workings of fate, and I have stuff to say about that. So is it worth it for a Final Fantasy VII fan? Yes. Are you a fan of Final Fantasy? You've never really played Final Fantasy VII? No. Or do you not like Final Fantasy? No, it's not worth playing. Do you like video games? No, it's not worth playing. The only demographic that this appeals to is the original players, or are players who played the original, are fans of Final Fantasy VII, because there's nothing else. Like, the only thing that's worthwhile is for players who know these characters and like them to revisit them, because everything else isn't worthwhile for, like, if you respect yourself, I think, as a video gamer, you shouldn't play this game. It is, almost two-thirds of it, and I shit you not, like, two-thirds of it is arduous, stupid bullshit with ham-fisted, stupid fucking mini-games that none of them are fun. It's just fucking miserable. The combat didn't really get updated too much from Remake, and Remake's, combat was kind of vanilla. It's just, I don't know. It's just so fucking bad. And, like, I got to, like, this chapter 12 originally, and I just, like, stopped playing. Because the world opened back up, all these stupid fucking quests came up, and then there's this stupid fucking Chocobo quest that the only reason I came back here is because I have to do it at some point, and I just don't fucking want to do another goddamn mini game. Side quest, why isn't it there? Oh, is it there? No, Dax. Who are these people? These are card players? Did I play them? I must have. Interesting. There's supposed to be a side quest here for Chocobo racing. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I have to go back and just do something, and then I can see. I don't know, but yeah, there's supposed to be a side quest here that I should be able to do, because it's the one side quest. If you look, I've done every single side quest except for that one fucking side quest, because I didn't want to race Chocobos. Because it makes no sense. It's a side quest, right? So you should be able to just do the side quest, but no, you have to get a gold rank in your Chocobo rate. Like, just let me do the side quest. Don't make me race Chocobos till I'm gold ranked. I don't want to do that. The Chocobo racing and all the Chocobo related stuff in this fucking game sucks. It's nothing like the original, where you spend a lot of time breeding Chocobo. That was, like, fun. I had fun breeding Chocobos and, like, making a mountain Chocobo, and then you could go over mountains, and then a river Chocobo, and then making the black Chocobo, and then making the gold Chocobo, and, like, making sure that, it had the right pedigree. Like, that was cool. Admittedly, way more fun with a guide. Horrible to do without a guide. But still, it was fun. And in this is just there was no redeeming. Like, it's just Chocobo racing, and it's just like you're playing. Like, if I wanted, I'd play Mario Kart. Like, I don't want to. It's just miserable, dude. And, like, none of these areas have what are they trying to do? Are they trying to make? We'll just go over here real quick. Like, were you trying to make Breath of the Wild with this game? Like, you have to go to these stupid fucking towers to, like, unlock more busy work. It just makes no sense. Like, yeah, it looks good, but there's nothing here. There's nothing to do. Like, in an open world, in Breath of the Wild, there are things to do everywhere. You stumble upon a weird fucking nook and cranny, and there's something to do there that's fun. You find a treasure chest or this or that. There's nothing here. It looks great until you travel around and you realize there's nothing here. It's just you walk around and there's enemies. That's it. So if you're going to make an open world, make it full of things. Make it worth traveling around. Make it worth making an open world. Otherwise, like, this is as bad as the original, where the original's open world was just random encounters. That's all this is. And I get it. Like, okay, maybe some people might argue then that makes it a faithful reproduction of the original, but, like, the point, what's the point of, like, Remake and Rebirth, like, have specifically said aren't, like, remasters. They're not supposed to do what the original did. So then what's the point? If you wanted to just make it turn-based combat again. Like, right? Like, if you wanted to just do a remaster, then just do a remaster. You just made this big, empty, open world of nothing. There's nothing here. I can walk 100 miles this fucking direction. All I'll see is these stupid fucking wolves and some bushes and trees, and that's it. Excuse me, I have to answer a call. There's just nothing here, man. It's empty. It's a void. It's nothing. You get to hear great music while you do it, just like you did in the High Wind when you played the original, when you were flying around that empty open world. But that's the thing. The empty open world was like worth traveling around. There was, oh man, there was like stuff to do. There were nooks and crannies in that open world. There's nothing here. You just run and it's flowers and grass and nothing. And I hate to compare it to Breath of the Wild, but like I just feel like they were like, look, like Breath of the Wild had those towers, right? And those towers, you climb up those towers and then it expands the map, blah blah blah. And this game has tower. It just felt like they were trying to do things other games did, but they were just doing it in such a fucking piss poor imitation of it. Like you're not Breath of the Wild, and Final Fantasy wasn't really an open world game. It had an open world, but that open world was empty and just full of random encounters. So if you want to iterate on that, like, how do you not just decide that maybe the open world was not good and maybe a more linear game, almost like Remake, would have been better? And that's kind of why I like Remake more than this. I think Final Fantasy benefits more from a more linear structure. Because Final Fantasy was never necessarily about exploring the world. It was mostly about it's all character driven, or at least as much as I can remember. I played 7, 9, 6, almost all the Final Fantasies I've played. I haven't played 16 yet, but like, they're not open world games. They're games that are character driven. You love the characters. The worlds are cool themselves, but like, it's not about exploring the world. It's cool to see parts of the world, the parts of the world that the game shows you. And that's why I think like a more linear experience almost probably would have been a more positive direction to take these games. Because opening up to the open world and like these world intels that you have to do. So, okay. You hit the ladder shows you all the other stuff that you need to do, and all the other stuff that you need to do is, you go to these stupid fucking life springs and you scan them, and all you have to do is press triangle 3 times in to a specific, beat. See all these like yellow dots in the bottom left? These are all the world intels you have to do, and it's just tower, life spring, which is pressing triangle. There are some random fights where you have to fight some like powered up or, in some way changed enemies and stuff, which are kind of fun. Then there's these Moogle things. Don't even get me started on the fucking Moogle things, dude. These were a fucking nightmare. The epitome of just not fun. I don't even think I can redo it, and I'm glad I'm not going to. But like, you go inside, like, it's not open. I swear to God, if I hear this thing fucking talking again, I'll scream. You just go in the mushroom, and then you have to like round up the little one. It's like, and you have to do that for every new area you go to, and it's just miserable. It is so miserable. And it's not even worth it. Like, you do all this world intel for Chadley, this fucking annoying piece of shit. And what's it all for? You do all this world intel, and guess what? You get an autocast. Fire and Ice materia is actually legit. But, like, it's just, like, shitty materia. Like, Fire and Ice is actually legit. Morph is okay. Auto-unique ability, I rarely used it. It's, decent. Autocast is fine. But, like, it's just not worth it. Like, you only get 4 mediocre materias, except for Fire and Ice is actually legit. It's just... So you do all that, and it's not worth it. You go to the Moogle hut, and, like, the Moogles have some stuff that's worth it. It's, like, it's the stuff that gives you SP. And, like, on that note, like, the restructure of the weapon upgrades and stuff was so bad. I don't know. Like, the older one might have been kind of, like, pointless because you could max out everything anyway, but, like, at least you had, like, a build in mind as you were doing it until you got all the SP or AP, whatever it was, I forget, and then you maxed it out anyway. Like, I don't know. They dumbed stuff down that didn't need to be necessarily dumbed down, but like I'm fine with it being dumbed down because the rest of the game is so much that like whatever, simplify what you can and make me deal with the rest, I guess. It's just brutal. And then and then you have like the annoying, it's just the world intels aren't, I'm not going to break down the entire game for you. The world intels weren't fun for the most part. The side quests weren't fun for the most part. The main quest had its moments, but like one of the things that like separated Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, the one thing that I actually think was cool with that they took a chance on was the story element, where essentially like it's hard to, but like Fate, it's like they're allowing for differences between the original and this because it seems like Sephiroth, the main villain, the antagonist of the game, is manipulating Fate. And like I thought it was cool. I thought, okay, like this is kind of like a, there's like multiple worlds, multiple realities, parallel universes type thing. Very, Avengers Endgame. But then you get to the end of the game and like you fight Sephiroth and it just gets kind of convoluted. Like, so Zack Fair is in one world and Aerith and Cloud are kind of in another, and Cloud and then Zack are in one, and then the rest of the party, Barrett, Tifa, Yuffie, Red, Kate, are all in like another, and it just, I don't know, it gets really fucking convoluted, and like I was so ready for something simple, like a very in the line of like Avengers Endgame, where it's like, Cloud and party somehow have to go to alternate reality where Zack is alive, Zack and Biggs are alive, which they have like kind of like a through line story throughout this whole game. But essentially, our party from this reality where Aerith's holy materia is empty have to essentially like Avengers Endgame Tesseract, go to another reality where the Tesseract like where the holy materia exists, get that so they can use it to stop Sephiroth or, stop Meteor and then stop Sephiroth, like something like that, something simple. Like there's multiple realities and then, maybe somehow Zack gets all, gets mixed up in it and like, Zack somehow comes back and Zack and Aerith can have the happy ending they've always wanted after 30 fucking years. And there would be some cool little fucking thing where you go and you get something, you come back, and then, a happy ever after, whatever. And that's just off the top of my head. Like, something simple like that. But they just make it really fucking convoluted, and it makes no fucking sense, and there's, like, multiple worlds, and Aerith is alive, but she's dead, and only Cloud can see her now. Like, it's just it's so dumb. It really, like, there was so much potential here, and I hate to compare it and like say it should be like, Marvel. Like I'm not a Marvel guy, but like almost like the simpler the better. Like if you're playing with multiple universes and realities and whatever, like this doesn't need to be a Christopher Nolan. I shouldn't have to be like Charlie Day and like, add the fucking red wire or red twine between picture and, trying to map this all out. Like it should like if it just shouldn't I had such high hopes that it would be like cool, interesting, and kind of, it could be somewhat complicated, but like something more or less simple to the point where you play it and you would get it. And I don't get it at all. I mean, I guess I get it, right? Like there's one reality where Cloud and Aerith were together and Aerith doesn't die. And then there's another reality where Zack is with Biggs, and then somehow Cloud and Zack end up in the same reality to fight Sephiroth at one point. It almost, like, I don't know. It's just so dumb. It's so fucking stupid. But yeah, it was like that. They took a big swing with doing like a multiple reality parallel universe, change the story of the original type thing, and I thought it was going to pan out and be really cool, and it didn't. It didn't pan out, and it's really stupid, and I don't like it. Yeah. They dumbed down the weapon upgrades. It's just, And also like giving Red and or giving Vincent and Sid the Red 13 treatment in remake, where essentially they're well, it's not even that. Like you, like Red joined your party, he wasn't a playable character in remake. They're just not. They join the party, but they don't do anything. You can't play as them. They can't join the party and fight with you or anything, which means that they're just introduced here, and then you get to play them in the next one. And Sid doesn't even have his story panned out. Rocket Town is cut out entirely. What's the point? Because the party needs a way to traverse the world. Like, okay, like, but you cut out his entire fucking story. Like, I don't know, man. And let me tell you, some of the traversal in this game sucks balls. It's so fucking bad. Like, getting around Gungaga with these fucking mushrooms, dude, is a nightmare. You want to try to figure out how to get to some of these places, and it's like pulling freaking hen's teeth, dude. There's like one mushroom that you'll have to find, and you won't find it, and you'll miss it, and then you're traversing, and then like it adds this stupid element of verticality that's totally unnecessary. So you get your fucking chocobo, and you run your chocobo over to the mushroom, and boop. And there's no knowing where you're going to end up, if this is even the right mushroom, and then, oh my god, this one double bounces you. And you end up here, and then let's try to find Alright, so there's the bouncing mushrooms, which is like one element of movement on this map. I'm trying to find, there's like, I want to see if I can find it. So they add this element of verticality with the mushrooms, and the only way to get up to these mushrooms is by climbing these ropes that randomly appear, and it's just like, it's just not fun. It slows gameplay down to a freaking crawl. I'm trying to see here. Let's see. I know which one has it. One of these towers. It can't be that one, can it? It's way up high. Well, I mean, I guess this will do it. But yeah, you'll just find these ropes around the map, and you just have to climb up them, and it can take this long, and it's just this boring, and this stupid, and this pointless. So add verticality and add frustrating climbing and movement mechanics, and then you go to Cosmo Canyon. Boy, oh boy. I'll tell you this. So, if you want to go to Cosmo Canyon, you absolutely and unequivocally have to find this one section that I missed, and it took me forever to figure out. I was stuck in this area for like an hour, just cleaning up side quests because I couldn't figure out how to get to a certain one, and all I missed was you go up here and then turn, or oops. Chocobo Traversal isn't so bad. It can be a little frustrating sometimes, but so you go up here and just make sure that you actually find this one. This is probably the most important one on the entire map. You gotta hit this one so that you can get over to that tower over there. So if you're playing and you get to this part and you start getting frustrated like I did because you couldn't find the necessary jumping point, the only points that the chocobo can jump off of apparently are those ramps, and it makes no sense. So like, watch, we'll do this, and like this is the only way that these chocobos can like navigate this map. You have to find the right jumping off point so they can jump off a thing, which will lead to those things which will launch you up higher. And it's not like they're most of them, it's like it's like a set path. So getting around this entire map, you have to find the right jumping off point, to find the right like balloon propeller thing so that you can fly up higher. It's just it's I don't know, it's kind of counterintuitive. Like make this easier. And what really bothers me is if you go to Nibelheim, the Nibelheim region, that chocobo is extremely mobile. Just run around and whoop. I said whoop. Oh, it's this one. It's extremely mobile. glide, you go up, you glide, you go up. You can get places really fast and really easily. And admittedly, you have to make sure there's water underneath you to get the jet. But like for the most part, everything is pretty accessible. So it's like, who designed Nibelheim? Did they not work on the Cosmo Canyon and the... What was the other one? Cosmo Canyon and Gungaga regions? Get the person who designed this area to design those, because this Nibelheim was great. It all came down to traversal, like areas that were easy to get around. Like Grasslands wasn't bad. It was just, all the maps are just empty, right? Like there's nothing here, right? Just enemies over there, and then they're and I maybe I'm being a little melodramatic, but like when I say there's nothing there, it's just like the objectives and then that's it, right? Like the side quests and that's it. And I compare it to Breath of the Wild because, yeah, Breath of the Wild had a similar setup. It was just emptiness and enemies, but, like, there was also stuff to do. Like, anybody who played Breath of the Wild can tell you that, like, just exploring was the most fun part of the game. Like, you didn't have to pay attention to what... You didn't necessarily have to do any objective or anything to enjoy. You just playing the game was the fun part, and this... playing the game is the miserable part. You're just kind of biding your time until you get to the next story beat. And if the strongest part of your game is the characters and the story, focus on that. Don't add all this extra beef that just extends the player's time. It's almost like insulting. Well, you made it your little AAA game, Square Enix. You made your little AAA game, and you felt like your players had to play for 80 fucking hours. Collecting these stupid chocograss things here. Like, it was just... Dude, there's one side quest here, too, that was, like... one of the worst quests I've ever... There were these groups of these black-robed guys, which are, if you know the story, they're ex-soldier or just civilians that were experimented on by Hojo, and they had Genova cells put into them. And they're just random spots around the map where they spawn, and you have to go to where they spawn. And I shit you not, these groups of robed men, they're sickly, they're not well, and they just stand around in groups, and then they move at a snail's pace, and you just have to follow them, and they move like this, just like this, or slower, honestly, probably more like if I can move slower with this stick, like that. Like, this is the pace they're moving. And you just have to follow them. And the characters talk, but, nothing of consequence. Nothing interesting, particularly. Just kind of talking. And then you gotta follow them, gotta follow them, gotta follow them, gotta follow them. And they're going at that pace. They're going at that pace the whole time. And then you get to here. And they end up here. It takes like 5 minutes. You're just following these guys at a snail's pace from there to there, and they're going so slow. It's just like, who, like, you guys made, like, it's Final Fantasy, one of the most renowned franchises in video game history, and you're all sitting around a table talking about you're making Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 Rebirth. And you all sat around at a table and said, yep, that's a good quest, ship it. Fucking ridiculous. Like, alright. I've shit-talked the game enough. Positives. The story was good-ish. Hanging out with Cloud, Aerith, Barrett, Red, Tifa, Yuffie, Kate. The story elements were good. You got to see Barrett and Dyne again. Going back with Red 13, seeing Red 13's dad, Seto, and him realizing that he wasn't a coward and all that. I thought the parts in Nibelheim were really creepy and cool. The gold saucer is awesome. We'll go to the gold saucer here real quick. Gold saucer is really cool. And admittedly, so I hate the side quests and stuff, but like, you know, you go to the Gold Saucer, like you're expecting mini games and stuff, and like that was fun because it was like, yeah, I'm taking a break from the story or even getting more story while I'm doing the annoying side quest. So there's like a reason to be doing it. Um, Here, Gold Saucer. Oh, but there's a story thing here. Well, whatever. We'll just go here. You can see a little bit of a cutscene and whatever, but you know, more or less, like Gold Saucer is cool. Hey, Krieger. He's got a lot to say about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth too. Um, the relationship system was kind of interesting. You know, kind of a way to determine who you get as a date on your Gold Saucer date. There's 2 dates in this game. There's one in Chapter 8, one in Chapter 12. So for those of you who want to prepare your save file or prepare your your game for that, make sure you're romancing the right people so you get the right dates. I got Tifa and then Barrett. I think when I played the original Final Fantasy, I got Barrett as well. I wanted, like, that's the thing. I had Red maxed, but I don't know if you can go on a date with Red. But like, yeah, I had Red maxed, so I thought I would get Red, but I got Tifa. I didn't even think she was maxed, but she must have been. But I think a lot of it has to do with your responses and like when you talk to him and stuff. And I don't know, it felt like every time I talked to Red, I like fucked up. Like I thought I was saying the right thing, but he always kind of took it negatively. And like Tifa and Barrett are easy to please. Barrett especially is really easy, but yeah, like look, like the Gold Saucer's beautiful. It's fucking awesome. It's like a casino / amusement park, theme park. It's fucking dope. But that's right. We're looking for Dio. Can I just fast travel? I should be able to. But yeah, there is this whole. I think it's this chapter. There's this whole like you go to the actual Loveless play and you watch the Loveless play and you're actually in the Loveless play and it's really dope. Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, this is the side quest that I chose not to do because I don't want to. We're skipping this. I don't want to talk to you. But yeah, and then you gotta like for this quest you gotta like race and so you have to do all these races and then do all these races, I think, or like maybe it's just up to I forget. I'm bronze right now, so maybe it's bronze. Oh, and I did 2, so maybe it's like oh, okay, so it's 9. You have to do 9 races, I guess, then. 3 more races to get to silver, and then 3 more to get to gold, probably. So yeah, so like 9 races total or something like that. And then I can finally race in this one. But so yeah, there's like there's a lot to do in the Gold Saucer, which is cool. So like that's one highlight, the Gold Saucer in general. My cat is freaking out right now. Yeah. But overall, really poor experience playing the game, which is disappointing, especially when you put 83 hours into it. You know, the Junon section was pretty cool. Like I liked the marching soldiers and like the doing the actual performance in front of Rufus. So like there was stuff that was cool in Junon, under Junon, kind of cool. Oh, Queen's Blood. Oh, let's talk about Queen's Blood. Let's go to the Junon region. We'll go to under Junon and maybe I can play like somebody in Queen's Blood. You can see what that's all about. Oh, fast travel's fucking. I knew I shouldn't have gone here. There might be somebody in the Ghost Square though. I might be able to play somebody in the Go Square. But Queen's Blood is dope. Queen's Blood is so sick. I loved Queen's Blood. Queen's Blood is like one of the few mini games that I thought was cool. Then again, I am a Magic the Gathering player, so I do like playing cards and stuff. But so like Queen's Blood is cool. One of the few. Let's see. I think this is one of my better decks, but that's a playable hand. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Queen's Blood. So, like, I don't know. I'm a Magic the Gathering player, so I like card games. I'm trying to think. I think this is fine. He can take that, and then I'll probably have a way to get it back. Yeah, he takes there. Okay, that's fine. I really need that centerpiece, so it might be better to let him go into the center. Ooh. This might be the better move, so I can secure. Well, you can take it. Yeah, I mean, I guess this works. That's actually pretty sick. We can do that. So, like, part of it is taking up board. Oh, but I missed the top. Damn, I could fuck myself over with this. We'll see. I can use the Griffin to replay. Okay, well, I can take this like that. Oh, fuck, he took it back. I'll take it back. If I do nothing, I win. So, yeah, do nothing and win. So, yeah, Queen's Blood is just fucking dope. Really fun side game, but again, I'm a card player. I like playing Magic the Gathering, so like brewing decks, and admittedly, like I think these are 15 card decks, so like brewing and making something good, and evaluating cards is much easier for this. But yeah, I mean, it's just that I like playing card games, so this was great for me. And there were other, Final Fantasy 9 had card game, Final Fantasy 8 had a card game. I think 8 had a card game. I can't remember. I know 9 did. So it's just nice to see that kind of through line come back, because I loved the Final Fantasy games and the card games, and I love card games, so it was dope. It was one of the few actual side mini games that I actually enjoyed. I'm glad that I remembered about Queen's Blood, because they were very, with the few things that I actually enjoyed, and one of them just being story. There's not much more I can say about that. I just liked the story-ish, but you see it so infrequently. It's you get a story beat between, every 2 to 3 hours or 5 hours of world intel bullshit, right? So yeah, you can like brew decks. Like I have this one that's just about like increasing the power of all your stuff. This one's about enfeebling stuff. And then I think one of these was like an early iteration of like a board aggro deck, where it was more about like controlling and getting the board quickly from your opponent and not letting them play cards, as opposed to having like an overall game plan. But eventually other decks that, players were playing got better than that. So like board aggro was like a good early thing, and then eventually you gotta have like some sort of game plan. I don't know. I'm glad it's over because now I can move on and play other games because I don't want to play this anymore. And I don't know, like part 3. The only reason I'm gonna play part 3 is because I'll play parts 1 and 2, and I have to know story wise if the little change that they made is how it's gonna pan out, because I'm lost at this point. But I think I know enough to understand that, like, I don't know, it'll resolve, but it's just a matter of how, and that's the only reason I'm gonna play the third game. And I don't think, I kind of regret feeling like I had to do everything in this game because I did a lot in Remake. I think for the next one, I'm just gonna kind of say, hey, like, fuck it. I'm only here for the story, so I'm fuck all the side quests, which sucks too, because like the side quests do really help you be prepared for the main quest. They help you level up and do what you need to do. Like, I feel like the game would be a lot more annoying if you're low level because you haven't done any of the side quests. So like, some battles are going to be a bit harder, which for combat that's a little vanilla. It's kind of frustrating. I can't fast travel. That's right. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if if you all feel differently. If you feel like this was the best game of all time, I'm sorry that I disagree with you so vehemently. But that's just how I felt. I really didn't enjoy a lot of playing this game. I really didn't enjoy a lot of the time I spent with this game, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to. I really wanted to love this game, and I was so hyped, and I wanted it to be the best it could be, and it is so far from the best it could be. Yeah, I can only hope that things change, but they won't for the third iteration, which is sad. Because I was hoping things would change a little bit for this one, and it didn't. And, yeah. So, yeah. It's like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 at best. And the only reason it would get 6 points would be because I liked Queen's Blood, and graphically it's impressive. And the story's good. Almost everything else about the game I didn't enjoy. So, yeah, that's it. Sorry if this was just a lot of negativity, but I wanted to make an honest review, and after slogging through just to be done with it, that's how I felt. And I don't like I think I'm fine leaving this at like a 6 out of 10 with Remake as a 7. I think I said Remake was like a 7 out of 10, and I was hoping for this to be better, but it's just not. It feels like Remake was like 40, 50 hours, maybe 60, and I probably enjoyed like 30 or 40 hours of that, and 20 was just, extraneous, arduous extra bullshit, whereas like almost 2/3 of this game feels like that because of the world intels and the side quests. It was the world intels that really honestly set it apart, because Remake didn't have that. Obviously, Remake was more of a linear. It was more linear, where this obviously quote unquote opened up into an open world situation. But I think that detracted from the overall experience more than it added to it, which is unfortunate. You'd hope as a game developer you'd see like, hey, we have people spending lots of hours doing stuff, and it's not fun. Unless some of you out there like doing that. Maybe there's some of you psychos who think that just like ticking more work, just doing busy work is fun. But that's not why I play video games. I don't play video games to tick boxes and do busy work. And there's a distinct difference between the busy work, this being busy work, and like something like an open world game like Breath of the Wild, where it's just night and day. You're comparing apples to oranges, really. Like, this isn't thought out. This doesn't have that experience at whatsoever. And I don't know what they were going for. I don't know if that's something they were going for. You'd hope not, because they missed the mark so drastically. But that begs the question: what were they going for? What was the plan here? Did you really did you have playtesters really say that they enjoyed their time doing a lot of that stuff? I can't believe that for a second, because it's just objectively not fun, most of it. So yeah, I'm done complaining. Not worth it. If you're a Final Fantasy VII fan, just get through it. You know, play on easy. Don't break your back over the world intels and stuff like that. If you're not a Final Fantasy fan, don't touch this game. Read the synopsis or like watch. If somebody's nice enough on YouTube to just like cut all the cutscenes together, just watch a super cut of all the cutscenes in this game. Don't play it. It's not worth it. It's not fun, and it's not worth your time. And it's not worth the money. It's not worth $60. And yeah, if the only situation I would play this game is if you played the original Final Fantasy and you love the characters, you love that game, you've played Remake, and you just want to see where it goes. Buy it on sale at the lowest price you can find it. Play it on easy, get through it as fast as you can, and only, just go from story beat to story beat. And I think that'll be an overall the most positive experience you can have with this game. And played any other way, this game can, for the vast majority, again, 2/3 of it, I feel are boring, miserable, arduous, tedious. And that's that. Thanks for watching. Don't play this game.